No. Hey guys, so basically in my last vlog, we briefly chatted about... Lizzie, we can't keep doing that.
I know, I'm really sorry, I just need to get the giggles out. Okay.
Lizzie, just get it out.
Okay.
You gonna be ready? Okay. Hey guys, so in my last vlog, we briefly chatted about doing a Q&A about, you know, any questions you had for us as like, you know, sisters. We both are vegan, we both transitioned quite, well, Lizzie transitioned 2 years ago, I transitioned 3 years ago. Anyway, we thought maybe you had some questions about that. So I asked you guys on Instagram and also in the comments. So we have a list of questions and we're going to go through it, and we're just both going to answer whatever
Comes to mind.
comes to mind. Okay, so we thought this first question would be, why is Lizzie living with you? Is she moving permanently to the UK? Because she's been living with us and you've seen her around in my Instagram and on the vlog, so we thought, you know, we'd address that first.
So yes, I am moving to the UK permanently, which is why I'm living with these guys. I'm not going to live with them forever though. They've kindly enough they're letting me stay here for a little bit. But my goal is to move to Bristol with my boyfriend. And I'm currently job hunting, so which is why I'm staying here in London, because we still don't have a place in Bristol. So it was easier for me to stay here than to go back and forth from France. So I've been here. I came back from my trip to India before Christmas, and then we spent Christmas together and New Year's together in Bristol as well. And then we came back and I've been living with them ever since. So I don't know how long it's gonna be that I'm gonna be here in London, but you know, it's just, I hope maybe not too long, because I would mean that I wouldn't find a job, but yeah.
No, you're gonna find a job.
Yeah.
But we love having her, and I'm just gonna be very sad when you leave. It's gonna be very empty.
I mean, we haven't lived in the same country, let alone, you know, same city or house in the last 10 years. So it's been really lovely to be together because we're really close. So
yeah,
it's been really nice to do. We're doing literally everything together. I mean, we're just together all the time. It's been quite intense.
Yeah.
But no, it's been lovely. It's been really nice.
It's been really good, and no, I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited that you're both. So Lizzie and her boyfriend are going to move here, obviously, and so I'm just
Theo's coming.
Yeah, he is coming. So I'm really excited to have them, you know, with us in the same country, because we know we'll be able to go on weekends together and travel, and
we've got loads of road trips planned.
Yeah,
so
we want to do Cornwall, Scotland. We want to take these guys to Wales because it's our favourite place, but they haven't been, I don't think.
No, never. I mean, there's so many places in the UK that I haven't visited.
Yeah, me too.
So
the Lake District, the Peak District, so many places.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's going to be really fun. And also, we might be planning on getting a van, Theo and I. So it could be. It could be a plan.
Maybe a van big enough for the four
of us.
Anyway.
Let's just get a bus then. So, second question is, do you both want children? Which is a big fat yes.
Yes. If you both know us personally, you know this question is an obvious yes. We've probably been wanting to be mums since we're like five.
It's like it's an obsession. I think every time, like, if there's a baby in a room, we will both be like, oh my god, there's the baby in the room, let's just go and make friends with it. The parent, we don't really care about the parents, we really just care about the baby. So yes, really excited. I think it's going to come maybe sooner for you guys than for us, but
you never know.
well. And a lot of there would be a lot of life-changing things happening in 1 year. But yeah, we're really excited, and we really do want children, and really excited to, I don't know, I think it's such a big learning curve, and it's such a, I don't think we would go into parenting with,
No, we wouldn't go into it with rose-tinted glasses.
Exactly, yes. Wow. We both, I haven't done some nannying, but Tanya, you've done some nannying when you were a student and stuff, and I've done a lot of babysitting, and we've always had babies around us, so we kind of know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not going to be the same as nannying, but it's going, we both feel quite comfortable around children and babies in general, and we both love the idea of parenting and starting a family, and so no, we both definitely want kids. I don't know, how many do you want?
I don't know, I'm not quite sure. I want 2 minimum 2, but I'm thinking like there's like 3 would be interesting, but then 3 is, I don't know if 3 is a good number. Please do let us know if you've got 2 other siblings, one of 3, that would be quite interesting. Because I don't know if 3 is a good number or not a good number. Or it depends maybe on the age gaps.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've always felt like in the 3s, or most 3s that we know, there's always like the youngest and the eldest are closer than, and the middle child is always kind of not left out, but kind of a little bit. I don't know.
What are you thinking of?
I'm not going to name names. I just feel like a lot of the 3s that we know, often the middle child is less close than the elder and the youngest. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. Generally, my mum is one of 3.
True. Well, no, because mum is one of 3, but she's closer to her younger. She's the middle child, and she's closer to the younger. No,
but often there's like, I think
it depends. No, but it's the age gap because mum's elder sister and her quite far apart, and she's very close in terms of age with her younger brother. So I think it really depends on the age gap.
Anyway, I don't think a number, we can put a number on it anyway, but
I feel like maybe when you're done, so maybe maybe after 1 we'll be like, oh my god, but exactly. I'm not having any more, or maybe after 3 we'll be like, I want 6 more, so
I don't think I would want 6. Especially, I seriously, with this whole, with the way the environment and the planet is, it freaks me out so much, and I always thought I'd have a big family. I mean, at least 2 as Lizzie, but I always thought maybe 4. But now I don't know if that's just the right thing to do. And so anyway, probably the right thing to do is to have none, and I'm very well aware of that. But yeah, I think 1 or 2, we'll see it. But yeah, we cannot wait to be mums.
Yes, it's gonna be very exciting, but I'm very scared.
We're already trying to plan
having
number
second,
2.
her second and my third at the same, my first at the same time. That would be really cool.
Yeah, not that you can really plan these things, but
well,
you can try.
You can try. You can do your best. Yes, and then someone said relationship advice ! You 2 seem to be in very loving relationships.
Oh.
Thank you so much for that.
That is very sweet. Yeah, we both are.
Yeah,
I think we found some good ones.
Yeah,
we did. We got. Well, I don't know if it's luck. I think we're just.
I mean, they're both very different stories. We met. We've been together with our boys. I don't even know what to call them, for approximately the same amount of time. You guys have been together for 5 years, and we're on 4.5, so we're just 6 months apart. But of course, Tanya and Michael have known each other, I mean, for years. We've known the family for a really long time. So it was a very different story, and I met my boyfriend in a bar, so it couldn't be more different. And but yeah, they're both amazing. And we love them a lot.
Yes.
But relationship advice, I don't really know what I could say. Well, maybe I think the one thing that I would say, because it's something that doesn't come naturally to everyone, and it certainly didn't come naturally. I mean, it does come, without wanting to sound
blow you on trumpet.
Yeah, because I talk a lot. If you know me, I mean, this
you're
vlog
probably
is probably gonna be me just like talking and talking and talking. But so I do talk a lot, and I do say what's on my mind, and I do, like, I have to say it, otherwise it just doesn't feel right, and I can't. There's one thing that I can't do with you, is I can't lie to him. Good for him. But yeah, I just can't lie to him, and if there's something that's off, and if there's something that I just like feel like if there's just something not right, not quite right, I will have to say it. But sometimes there's subjects that are a bit, that are just a bit too touchy or a bit too difficult to talk about, and then that's when you really sort of have to force yourself to have the conversation, because it's not
to not let it brew and just become this. Because often it's something very small that just, if you let it...
blows out of proportion.
Yeah, it blows out of proportion, and then you start overthinking it, and the other person does as well, and I think just over time it just becomes this thing that you could have easily avoided if you just had an open conversation about it, calmly and...
I mean, it's happened to us. It's happened to us.
It happens all the time.
When we've been together. Well, I think the biggest one for us was... when we've been together for 1.5 years maybe, or close to 2 years, and I just had, as I think a lot of people have, and it's completely normal and it's okay, and I started having doubts, and I started just really sort of second guessing everything, and just sort of going, really just going in my mind and listening to my, sort of negative thoughts, and I was in a really bad place, and I didn't get it out, and we didn't talk about it for a few weeks, and it built up into this great big thing for me, and then it was very complicated to talk about it, because I couldn't really put my finger on what it was. It was just something that was like a feeling that like something, and then we had a talk about it, and it was a really complicated talk. I think it was the most just heartbreaking conversation for both of us, because we were like, what are we gonna do? It was really sort of a really hard conversation to have, but then we had it, and it wasn't pleasant at all, and it wasn't pleasant for the whole time that we had the conversation, and we had it in the evening, and the whole night was just really complicated. It was really sad. We were both very sad. And in the morning, without really, we just woke up, and we were just like, we're going to get through this, and it's okay. It's just, a feeling that you have. And literally the moment I spoke these words out and we had the conversation, the day after, I was like, okay, I've got no more doubts. I'm fine, I'm fine now. And I don't say that I don't have my doubts, and I don't have like anything that's wrong with our relationship, but yeah, so basically, in short, just talk. Just talk about stuff.
I mean, it's the cliche thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just communication, but it's so true. I think it's where things can easily, become toxic and brew into something that just really didn't need to be, that began with being something really simple and naive, and just, that... often I think for me, because I'm an overthinker, and I will just make these, thoughts in my head, like this little movie in my head of what I think happened, what I think the other person is thinking, or think.
We do that, both of us. We do that
terrible
all the time.
It's terrible, but, and I'm sure we're not the only ones, but, and I think for me, that's where the anxieties and the, all the kind of certain things can start, when really just it was, if I had just said it out loud and said it to Michael, he could have just appeased me straight away and be like, that is not at all what I'm thinking, or what happened, or whatever it is. And I read somewhere, I can't remember the book, but I read somewhere someone who said that with their husband, they do this thing where if anything kind of becomes a little bit, you know, like there's something in the air and they need to clear the air and something they need to talk about something, they say to each other, this is the story I am telling myself. Oh, I know, I think it's the book. Oh, I don't have it here. I think it's who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Miranda Gilbert? No, she's not called Miranda. She's called Gilbert. That's her family name is Gilbert.
Yes.
100%.
Oh,
And she
her
is
name?
called Elizabeth Gilbert.
Elizabeth Gilbert. In her the follow-up to Eat, Pray, Love,
which is called...
oh my god, I'm terrible with names. It's in the book Committed by Elizabeth Gilbert, the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. I hope you all read this because it's one of my favorite books. But Committed was all right. It was just like a story and looking at, I think it's from that book. Maybe it's not at all. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong.
This is going out of proportion. Now this is becoming a book review, guys.
No, but anyway, even if it's not, it doesn't matter. Just the thought of it was, she said, when anything kind of comes up, they say, this is the story I am telling myself to the other person. And they say what they've been internalizing, what they've been imagining and overthinking. And so you just put it out there, and it's just, you know, a way to just lay that all flat and not saying, not putting the blame and pointing the finger at the other person, but just saying, this is what I've been telling myself and what, you know, what is going on in my brain. And it's not that it's right or wrong or true or, you know, or false. It's just a way to then, for the other person to say, well, this is the story I've been telling myself. And so then you can both see which, you know, where you're both coming from, and you can kind of understand, you know, the other person's point of view and, you know, where things could have escalated because, you know, obviously this person, it was just really simple and you have overthought it or whatever it is. Anyway, I thought it was a good advice, and we kind of do that sometimes, and it's really helpful. But yeah, I think definitely communication, and just I don't know, I think just also, I think one thing that has both helped us really a lot is the book that's called The 5 Love Languages.
Oh yeah.
It's again a classic. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's this book, I'll link to it below. It's this book that it's really short and it's not that well written, but it's just the point
That's
of
not
it.
very nice.
Well, I don't know.
I enjoyed it. It's an easier read.
It's an easy read. It's not, you know, you're not going to go into it for the literature.
But you also don't have to read the whole book if you don't want to read the whole
No.
book. You can go on the 5 Love Languages website.
Yeah, I'll link to it below as well.
And you can do this quiz. You can do it if you're single, or you can do it if you're in a relationship, and basically it will tell you what is your love language. So you don't have to have only one love language. You can have multiple ones, or you can have 2 that are very strong, and then the rest that is just not
but
so strong.
generally each person has one that is kind of
Stronger.
the main one. And so the 5 love languages are
Words of affection,
words of affirmation, physical touch,
quality time, gifts, and the last one is acts of services. And it's really interesting to realize what the other person, your partner's love language is, because often their love language is the way that they will show love.
They will show love with you. And so...
And both Michael and Theo are very similar in their love language.
And we realize we don't... Well, I mean, I think a lot of couples are like that. It's really rare for you both to have the same love language. I mean, it happens. But often, you know, different individuals, we have different ways to express love and the way, you know, we want to receive love. And so it's really interesting to just, you know, to know that, and I think you can know sometimes. I mean, I know, you know, for Michael, for example, it's definitely acts of services, because that's the way he shows love to me all the time, doing things for me, you know, making me food, looking after me, doing many things, you know, around the house and, you know, for our life in general. And that's not mine. I think mine is words of affirmation. Yes. So I need to hear it. I need him to say it, and I need him to, you know, put words to it.
And it's not just words of affirmation. It's not just I love you, or you know, it's everything else is like, I'm proud of you. I'm, you know, thank you so much for doing this, or thank you so much for buying bread, or, you know, like all these things. It's like the little things that, you know, because to me, and I'm a bit the same, is when I do something and I'm just like, you know, I would, you know, because I used to get to home from work earlier than Theo would, so, you know, I would start cooking, or I would start, you know, doing whatever. And when I was coming home, I think unconsciously, and maybe a bit consciously, I was like, you know, I hope he notices that, you know, I've really cleaned the bathroom, like, you know, he really needs to notice this. And you know, if the other person just goes in the bathroom and they've not, you know, they see it, they're like, oh wow, like, I'm so happy the bathroom's so clean. But then they don't say anything to you, then I would have, you know, I would be upset. I would be like, oh, you know, like, he hasn't, you know, he doesn't care about me cleaning the bathroom, sort of thing.
Yeah. And there's the concept that you have a love tank, and that if your partner doesn't, I mean, maybe we're going into too much details about this. I think you should just look into it. But it's this concept of you have a love tank, your partner has a love tank, and if you're not, it's like if you don't have the same love language and you're not aware of the other person's love language, then it's like you're speaking two different languages, and so you're not going to receive the love that they're trying to show to you, and so your love tank slowly over time will just, you know, go down and empty. And I think, I mean, I don't know, we're not experts at this, you know, we haven't been in a long-term relationship for a very long time, but I believe that there's definitely some of that, where if you don't feel seen and appreciated and respected, and you don't feel like you're receiving love the way that you want, or the way that you feel it, then over time it's going to fizzle out, and then big things, you know, small things will become huge, and then over time, because your love tank is not as full as it once was, and, you know, things can just go out of proportion. I don't know. That's my theory.
We recently watched Sydney Leon's story on female friendship. And I don't think it was her that was saying it, but then I just looked at the story and I read the comments and stuff, and someone was saying that basically a relationship is basically, you can basically picture it as, I'm holding a cup and Tanya's holding a cup, and when I do things for Tanya, when I tell her things, or when any sort of love that I show, I'm gonna pour a bit of what's in my cup in her cup. And if she shows me her love in a different way, maybe, or if, you know, our relationship just works that way, she might not be pouring the same amount in my cup, and for a little bit that will be okay. But if in the long term both of your cups are, you know, there's one cup that is completely empty and one cup that is overflowing, then there is something that, you know, there is an imbalance, and it will be felt in the relationship, whatever it really is. If it's with a partner, or with a friend.
And I think it's the same with the love language. I think it's not just in romantic relationships. I think it's really interesting to know it about your kids, your children, the way that they express their love, or, and, you know, that they like to receive love. Like, it's, you know, your friends, whatever it is, your family. I think it's really interesting to look into it. You know, I don't think it's a foolproof theory, but I think it's a really interesting way to look at it. So yeah, that was a very long answer to a simple. Well, it's not a simple question.
But I think it's something that we're really passionate about, and
I think we could probably do a whole video about that. So maybe
about questions like relationship questions. I would love to. I mean, I'm not a pro at all. I mean,
we both find it really interesting, and it's something that we love to read about and
get insights. And also, I really like, you know, getting insights into other people's relationships and how they deal with conflict, and how they deal with just the little you know, daily, you know, just daily stuff. And I think that's very interesting. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do a Q&A, like a relationship thing.
Yeah, let us know. Okay, next question. Did you always get along? The short answer, I think, is yes, pretty much. I mean, we had a time when, because we are 5 years apart, So, which is quite a big gap when you're little. And I think there was a time when maybe I was an early teen and Lizzie was still, you know, like in her, you know, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 or whatever. That
and
maybe,
I still wanted to play, and Tanya didn't want to play
and
anymore.
I was just
and
over it,
just
and I
like,
was a proper teenager and being moody, and I mean, we were not terrible teenagers really overall, but like I think, you know, that was, it felt like a bigger gap, and so then I think we had more kind of, you know, little conflicts and just little, you know, but nothing really serious. I mean, we would just, we would shout at each other and maybe, you know.
But then in that time we also used to do loads of things together.
Yeah,
and
we were always really close. Like there was not, you know, we were always each other's best friend. Like there was never a time where, you know, I didn't want anything to do with Lizzie. It was, you know.
And also we get each other so well. I mean, I know when Tanya's upset, like it's like she doesn't have to speak, she doesn't have to look a certain way. I will just feel it. Like I know if someone says something that is gonna, like, that hurts Tanya, or, you know, like I will just know, and I will be like, I'm gonna kill that person. But you know, like no, but you know, like I think we really get each other.
Yeah.
While being completely different. But I think that's another question.
Well, maybe we'll go into it, but it's...
But no, we really do get along, and I think that we have struggled being really far away from each other for the last 10 years. I mean, when Tanya left home, and I was, how old was I? I think I was 13 when Tanya left home, and she went to university. She came to university here in the UK, and that was just... I mean, that was terrible for me. I was heartbroken. It was really hard. And it was something very exciting for her because, you know, she was, you know, it was this brand new chapter in her life. And it was, of course, it was very exciting just to go to university. But I was getting into my teenage years, and I was, you know, I was like, oh, like, I don't want to live here anymore.
But also we, like, I mean, some of you probably know this, but we both come from the south of France. That's where we grew up, and we grew up in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in a tiny village, there's a church, and there's like about 5 houses.
There's no priest in the church. It's just a church.
No, there's just a church. It's not even a working church. It's just, there's no shops, there's nothing. So, you know, we're about 15 minutes away in a car to the nearest town. But, you know, so in a way that also brought us closer than ever, because we were, you know, each other's best friend, and that's, you know, we had each other's back. And I think when I left, I was really hard on Lizzie because, you know, her main person just, you know, kind of disappeared. But
then I was used to it because I got all the privileges of being an only child.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
You know.
Exactly. She had 10 years of that, so, you know, it worked out. But yeah, no, we are really, really close, and we're very happy to finally
be reunited.
Okay, and then the next question was how similar are you? Yes. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to do is my thing.
How similar are you?
How similar are we? Very different.
But also very similar.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but we are completely different. If you know us personally,
our personalities are quite different. Our character is different. I'm very calm and quiet, and I'm very introverted and timid. Well, I used to be more timid when I was a child, a lot more. And Lizzie's more...
That's why she needed me.
Yes, Lizzie's more fiery. She's like the really social one who's, you know, always chatty. I mean, when she was about 3, you would let her out on a beach on a holiday, and she would, within literally 2 minutes, she would come back with 5 friends. And we'd be like, where did you find these people? Like,
kids, not people.
No,
I
as in
going to adults.
No, but you would talk to anyone. She would go up to anyone.
I actually remember being in the restaurant when I was really little, and just like restaurants just very boring for a child. So I would just go you know, I would just stand up and go chat to other people in the restaurant, adults. I would just go up and say like, hi, my name is Elisa. I'm 5 and I like dogs. You know, like I remember doing that.
Yeah, no. So we are very different in a lot of ways, but we also, I think, as we grew older,
I think I've calmed down, and Tanya's maybe become a bit more like me.
No, I wouldn't say extroverted. That's pushing the boat. I'm not extroverted. I'm just a little bit more confident in my, in myself, and just a little bit more kind of open and than I was maybe when I was a kid. But we are kind of but we complete each other. We're like yin and yang.
Yeah,
I think.
But we are But the thing is, I think it's more me that has changed, you know, with age. I think that
I don't know. I feel like maybe you feel that because it's you, but I feel like we both.
I think that you mature. You know, at some point, I had, you know, that was my child behavior. That's how I was as a child. But then when you grow up and, you know, you think a bit more of the consequences, and you think more. So
not like you were a terrible child.
No. But like consequences of what you say. So you of course become a bit more self-conscious, and you're like, I really just cannot walk up to that person right now. You know, it's just like, it's really not polite.
That happens in teenagers.
But you know, but I still do. I mean, you know, if you put me in an event or something, I will.
She will be the life of the party. She'll be the first one on the dance floor. You are like you start the party.
But I'm a terrible dancer. But I will still go on the dance floor and go hard.
Crack me up. When it happened was we went on a very cheesy ski trip in March, almost 3 years ago, and at that point I was very, very well aware of the kind of vegan movement and the plant-based diet and the benefits of it, and I followed many people.
You've done your research.
I've done my research. I mean, I've been doing probably research and reading about nutrition, I would say, for the past
7 years.
7 years? Yeah, 7 years. It's just, I'm just really passionate about it.